episode, it begins with Boyd and his whole F-tarded cellar Old Man River situation, right?
Right.
I'm Martin.
He's Martin the Marine because he had the tattoo on his forearm.
You a Marine?
Semper Fi.
Boyd's a Marine. Wife was a Marine. So that's cool. They were able to connect that way.
Everything this guy said was like I actually got chills at one point. He goes,
You think those things that come out of the forest at night did this? They're just the tip of the spear.
I was like, yeah, that sounds like a military guy. That's shit they say. If you talk to anybody who's in the military now or was in the last 10 years, and they'll use that phrase at least like once a day. So that was a good inclusion. And also what he was hinting at was freaky. Like, yeah, okay, so the creepy 50 zombies are like the least of their problems and no one knows it.
Oh, God. They're coming.
when the creepy music starts playing, I thought that was just for ambiance, and then they reference it, and I'm like, oh, they can hear that.
Creepy music box. Are we supposed to know what that was? I felt like we'd seen that before. Have we seen the creepy music box?
I made the same note. Did we see the music box? I know we saw that music box in Cabin in the Woods, because the monster for that was the ballerina with no face, and it was just a giant mouth where her face should be.
Yeah, so I might be thinking back to something like that, where maybe we hadn't seen it before. But he seemed to, I don't know if he recognized it or if he just thought it was creepy shit. It's hard to tell.
I've mentioned Ravenloft before. That's the gothic horror version of Dungeons and Dragons. They have different little realms, and they're all like patchwork quilted together. Each one is a celestial prison of a different kind. And they have a whole section called the Nightmare Lands. And this feels like the Nightmare Lands come to life. Like everything about it is dreamy. The things that people are going through when you're in one of those weird dreams and you can't wake up, reality isn't really what we're seeing.
You ever wonder if Abby was right?
That was another good one. To mess with his head.
Is Abby his wife?
Yeah.
And he's saying right in that she thought that killing everybody was a way to free everybody?
Maybe. But that's not the first time he's heard that. They've said that to him before.
I didn't even pick up on that.
The first season, something mentioned his wife as well, and he started freaking out.
We're out of time!
Boyd comes back and frees him. First thing Old Man River does is scratches him.
Yeah, and it infects him.
I think they were playing it off like that was a horrible, sinister thing. Like, oh, you fucker, how could you? But I think the old man was actually using his last moments of life to help Boyd out.
Oh, do you think that? I thought it infected him to move on to a new host.
At the very end of the episode, Boyd's looking at his arm, and he's got like those creepy crawlers underneath his skin of his forearm.
The large bolded note I have here is time to eat a bullet. I'd be out. If I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, I can't deal with that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to kill myself right now.
What, the whole infected parasite evil?
Having things in you, eating you, so yeah, I'm not going to do with that.
And that's one of the things they're doing. They're like, okay, we're going to have a lot of suspenseful jump scares, but we're not going to shirk on the body horror either. Because, like last episode, they had the glass all around Ma Cass's eyeball. And in this one, they're like creepy crawlies under the skin. I don't know what it means. Things are going off the rails and things are happening where you're like, oh my God. But like Boyd's threat is by far the most like, what is happening?
Rex pointed out he feels like they might be punking us and just coming up with stuff to be weird. But I have to say, it's so good. It's so entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, so was Lost, and it was only like in retrospect after they, like whiffed the landing that you're like, oh God, it was all for nothing. But, up until that point, you were like, on board watching it, like, yeah, polar bears and put the code in every 7 minutes or whatever it was. Yeah, he didn't like climb out of a hole and was standing in the ruin.
No, it was just instantly changed.
The whole cellar just disappeared around him. My prediction for that whole sequence is they made it seem like a real ominous thing, especially at the end with the creepy crawlies under his skin. But I bet that was a beneficial thing in toto.
Interesting.
Busload of shitheads in the diner. Colony Mama and a couple of different shotguns. And is the Asian cop named Ken? I don't like calling him Asian cop, but I don't remember his name.
Maybe? That sounds like a good fit.
They're all keeping them under guard, and crazy grandma, but she said something about like, you're an odd thing, or you're acting like an odd thing, something like that.
The enemy's out there.
Well, that's an odd thing to say.
And I'm like, bitch, you were doing like capoeira in a rainstorm. You're a crazy woman, so I think your opinion's a little suspect. Well, the diner was kind of a tense scene. They're still dealing with that, and the two lesbians reunited are having their discussion, and blonde, I don't want to call her blonde because it's only the front of her hair that's blonde, which looks really bad, and it's kind of a trashy trailer parky.
The nurse.
Yeah.
Nurse girlfriend.
They're all getting upset and yelling at each other, and I'm like, hey, EMT chick, just say this. Can we table this discussion until about 4 hours from now and then come back and see me? Because by that point, people are going to start dying and screaming. And
right.
And then she wins. Wins the argument, point made.
Don't. The more attention you draw to the house, the more likely those things are to go looking around.
I can't just sit here doing nothing.
Good thing Asian Cop was able to like hysterical bitch whisper her.
Julie, your dad's best chance right now is to stay exactly where he is until the morning.
Because she was about ready to run out the door at nighttime. Like, you can't do anything. He's under the house. Just Jesus Christ.
What's your favorite book?
What?
You do read, right?
The worst thing in a situation like that is hysterical bitches. And they could be either male or female. I'm not trying to, gender norm, hysterical, irrational. Skinhead tough guy. We haven't really figured him out yet, but you could see that Colony Mama was eyeballing him. He's sitting around the table. He's whispering with two other guys. She knew he was going to go for it. He was formulating a resistance, and yet she dropped her guard, or maybe, I guess Asian Cop dropped his guard or never had his guard. But yeah.
Here's what I wrote. Tough guy is just really, really high strung. His reaction is understandable, but he's got to switch to decaf or something. Also, the other person he freaked out on was Asian Cop. Maybe you're right. Maybe he is racist.
Oh, you're right. The two people we've seen him physically lay hands on were the black man and the Asian Cop. So maybe he is a skinhead.
But otherwise, he's an okay guy.
He's willing to help out white people. He personifies the statement, or I guess it's like a compliment or a retort where you say, that's mighty white of you. People used to say that.
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Does that mean if you're not white, you're going to be an asshole or be dishonest? That probably is what it means. So he takes Asian Cop hostage. Not a surprise. Asian Cop is a tiny, tiny little ineffectual mouse of a dude. And the whole time that Colony Mama's there pointing a shotgun, and whoever her big shotgun holding compatriot, who I think this episode might have been the first time I ever saw him, but whatever, he was there. They're pointing the guns at him. And I'm looking at it, and most people listening probably won't get this, but I'm going to point this out and say this is a fact. At no point was Asian Cop in any danger at all of being shot in that immediate situation. Asian Cop carries a 1911. 1911s have single action. In other words, when you pull the trigger, all it does is release the hammer, which needs to already be cocked. That trigger was not cocked. He could have squoze that trigger all day and night and would have done shit. Double action guns, the trigger pulls back the hammer and then drops the hammer. 1911s don't work like that. So he was in no danger of being shot. As far as the stragglers go, they were the hiding behind the bus stragglers.
Get inside! Hey!
And then there was the white couple, young man, woman that ran into, I think, the bartender's place.
Hello?
Did they open the door and they didn't show what happened? They just pulled away or whatever? We'll probably see their mutilated corpses next episode when they're looking over the town.
Speaking of the people hiding behind the van, when you look at it from the new person's point of view, all the people in the town look like they're batshit crazy and dangerous, and the monsters are nice and calm.
They just wanted to walk up and shake your hand and smile. And
Did they learn to do that? Is that almost like a survival instinct that they learned, like that's the best way they can get fresh meat?
like, in order to be as disarming as possible, you need to look like Richie Cunningham.
Right.
The old couple on the bus. And I just love that scene about how they spent so much time with Richie. You know, he's smiling the whole time and he gets up and he gets into the bus and you can tell just in his head, he's like, vroom, making vroom, vroom noises before he notices. I wonder if he knew they were there the whole time.
No, because they made a noise and then he turned around and saw them and then the smile got bigger.
Do you think if Richie Cunningham hadn't been interrupted by the old people, maybe if he was in the bus by himself and the bus didn't have a shot out front tire, would he have tried to drive it? And if so, where would he have gone?
Interesting.
Probably would have crashed it and smiling the whole time.
Right, yeah, trying to run down people on the road.
Thank God we heard the screaming.
You picked a bad spot.
I guess the first hysterical, irrational female was Boyd's son's girlfriend.
Oh, I thought that she's acting very realistically.
Well, I feel like if he wasn't there, she would have not run inside because those two just walked right around the corner like 4 feet away from him by the time he pulled her inside. She would have still been out there going, you need to get to cover. Yeah, and then he's like, get away from the windows. You're not doing anything. And she keeps, we have to do something. Well, you know, we get it. You care about life and humanity, but they're fucked.
Well, they make a good couple because remember, she saved him when he was freaking out.
That's true. She was able to use her head.
So that they're a good, strong, emotional couple, and now they're building them up more and more so that if one of them ends up dying, it's going to be even more of a gut punch.
The funny thing about the two that confronted them, you know, she like flipped the bird to them because she couldn't do anything else. They look like again, 50s, same era, but, you know, like 50s cowboys, like you're watching like Tom Mix or the Roy Rogers show or something like that because dude was a cowboy. That was kind of interestingly weird.
Oh, you know what? And the milkman, they do look like something you'd see on television, doesn't it? Not actual time period, but stuff from TV at the time, which was more sterilized.
Their appearance reminds me of, did you see the Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon movie, Pleasantville?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody in that looks like straight off the casting for this. You know, it's a little bit like WandaVision, a little bit, you know, TV's depiction of how it was, like Norman Rockwell.
Jesus. Fuck, please. Hey, man, you gotta shut up. I just want to go home.
I predicted everything with that guy. Came true. He woke up and he instantly freaked out.
Did he say his name was Prick or Brick?
Hey, Brick. You like pancakes?
It sounded like that, right? I'm a prick, yeah.
I can't believe they killed Bartender. That was a fucked up scene too when they show the bartender's like kind of flattened and also torn out body in the daytime. I guess he didn't make it. I felt bad about the bartender. That was a good jump scare. Yeah, because all of a sudden it was just right there. And he got fucked. So, yeah, they have no qualms about killing off a relatively decently established character who has exhibited no negatives at all and seems like kind of a good guy and was very helpful to the community. They killed his ass off. So prior to this, they killed off the drunk who got his family killed, or, you know, the red shirt who wouldn't shut the fuck up, or
Sweater girl.
Yeah. I mean, that's good that they are killing off people that we know and kind of give half a shit about because, you know, like when the Colony Massacre happened and suddenly there's this dude with glasses and a mustache who's like in love with a girl outside his window. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? What is going on? So, yeah, I'd rather them. Yeah. But yeah, bartender's gone. So F that dude. Predictions for now. I'm trying to think like predictions. I mean, they're bringing everybody back together. Boyd's little safari is over, so he's going to be back in town for the first time in a while. Dad'll be out in the first 5 minutes of next episode, probably.
They're going to find out that the monsters slumber underneath the town.
Yeah, that's...
I bet the wife is going to mention that.
Thing. They slumber there, which means that they physically walk out come nighttime. They don't like teleport. They don't materialize. They seem to physically walk out. So maybe it's probably completely impossible. I was going to say maybe if they like went around plugging up all the holes or something.
Oh, I thought just grab some hooks and drag one out into the sunlight and see what happens.
Or you know what you do is you go underground and you seal off all the tunnels because they weren't everywhere. They were kind of confined to a core area.
Right.
So you seal off all those areas, not even with anything like boulders, rocks. You just put like a little drywall or paper or glass, something. And then you put a talisman inside where they are. Would they all melt and die?
Oh, good idea. Yeah, like at the front of the cave there.
Yeah, maybe they'd all just like horribly burst into flames.
While he was talking to the old man and he showed him the talisman, what I was wondering was, can't you just start carving new ones? Is it a special kind of rock? Or could you just start like making those symbols everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I don't know is I haven't seen like 5 different talismans. Do they all have the same symbol? Do they have different symbols?
They look like pictograms. I don't know.
I think wet daughter might dry off next episode. Well, I guess she dried off by
She's dried off after the diner.
Yeah.
We did the rainstorm. It makes her much more palatable.
Yeah, I'm able to put up with her hysterical bullshit when she's with.
Hey, that's a good way to calm her down. Someone just throw a bucket of ice cold water on her. Yeah.
And then she'll start just running around and jumping up and down. And I think next episode, now that they're kind of all coming back together in the town, I think mom is going to make a comeback because in the last couple episodes, daughter's been overtaking mom as far as like pervy hotness. So I think the mom needs to like get some more tight tank tops or whatever. So I think she's going to like put up a respectable front. I think dad's going to be out in the first 5 minutes because he's been laying on his back for like 1.5 episodes. What the fuck is Boyd going to explain his adventures? How can he explain any of that shit?
Well, first we found a big effing spider, and then we found a lighthouse, and then I found a medieval torture chamber.
They managed to whittle down. I mean, like the bus had like maybe 20 to 30 people on it, and now there's maybe like 5. There's not that many left. I guess there's enough that they could just like pull some rando extra red shirt if needed for random savaging. Any like dead man walking? Is anybody going to die next episode? Like I would have never picked the bartender.
I don't know. They have plenty of people to pick off.
Main family, sadly, will all be alive. Victor will be alive. Jade will be alive. Colony Mama might be slated to go at some point, but they're going to make it like a big Hodor, hold the door kind of Game of Thrones like epic thing if she goes out.
Yeah, she's going to save everybody. Like they're going to be in the caves. They're going to be coming and she's going to cause a cave in or something. Yeah.
If by the end of this season she's still alive, I will be shocked. But I will also be shocked if they just, do a jump scare and then have her dead body found in the morning. Boyd's obviously going to be alive. Will they ever kill his son? Or would that just be too much? If they killed him, Boyd would just completely lose his shit. So maybe not. They might kill his girl. I guess I asked this last time. I don't know if I have anything prepared for this, but MVP of the episode.
I really liked the guy chained to the wall. He was scary and freaky, everything he said.
So Gunny Martin, the Old Man River Marine.
Old Man River Marine, yeah. He was really good.
Victor, with his crayon, artistic, and it was the dummy.
Did he see it sitting down there in the cave? Did he look over at it?
Yes, I think they both flashlighted it and looked at it. So maybe he was just drawing what he saw and maybe it wasn't that significant. But I think the fact that, once again, the show, out of all the things they could have used that,
Victor, man, is a great character.
All of the first season, I kind of just thought he was that annoying kind of like town tard trope.
Well, he grew up in this really messed up place. So I think he's perfectly, quote, normal. He's just had a very messed up environment to grow up in.
That's true. More people need to get nuts like him, and then they might survive. But yeah, he's obviously got his finger on the pulse of, because he's had a lot of trial and error, and he survived. He has the bunker truck with all the supplies.
Did you see the picture behind him on the back wall of the truck?
Maybe not. Which one?
It looks like he cut open paper bags to make like a giant mural, and he made the whole town, and he drew the giant circle of the road. So it looks like he has like walked everything.
Oh. Cool. I'll catch that in editing. That's good. Yeah, he definitely seems like, I was going to say he seems like most likely to survive, but he also seems like somebody they could like have him be all heroic and sacrifice himself.